Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the It's Pizza Time podcast. I'm your host, iNDiGO. Today I'm joined by my co host, Victor.
It's good, guys. How are you doing?
John is still on some road trip or whatever, so he is still a little bit absent, but he'll be back soon. And then our very special guest, Willim.
I'd rather just be mad at you. Yeah, I'd rather stay mad at you.
Hey guys.
Welcome.
So for everybody out there who does not know who or what Willim is, would you like to explain, pretty much give like a little bit of background to who and
Yeah.
what you are, what you do?
So this is Willim, and I'm a music producer from China. I'm currently in LA right now, and then I've been working on some music with Spinning Record and also Trap Nation, and these are the two main labels that I'm working with right now. And then I mainly make trap, future bass, and recently get into house a lot, and I'm trying to kickstart a new house project as well. With Selected, so yeah, that's pretty much it.
Oh, nice. All right. So definitely a man of like a lot
Many
of
genres.
Yeah,
Yeah,
many genres, many
a lot.
labels. All right, really cool. So I guess I'll jump right into the first question we ask everybody on the show, being, what is your favorite kind of pizza?
For mine, kind of interesting, because I like eating meat a lot. There's something called meat lover, I guess.
Oh, hell yeah! I
Yeah,
know what you're talking about.
right. Sausage, pepperoni, and all those kind of stuff in it. I love that a lot.
Yeah, that stuff's like really good. Do you
Mhm.
like is there like any particular like restaurant you go to for that, or do you like get the frozen one that you make at home or stuff like that?
I actually went to the Blaze a lot.
Okay.
I'm not
Blaze
sure.
Pizza.
Is that the
Yeah.
right name? Yeah. And actually, my parents live in Italy a lot, and then we were in Milan most of the time, and we have like a lot of pizza there, like kind of
Oh.
like one thing one. Yes.
I
Mhm.
mean,
Yeah.
that sounds pretty fire, actually.
Yeah. We have like pizza every day back there. Yeah.
All right. I mean, well, then I guess like, so your parents like live in Italy a lot, you say, or like do they live there like permanently, or they're just like there quite often?
They're just there quite often because they were like fashion designers back then,
I see.
and they kind of stopped their business like 2 to 3 years ago, and then we were just there like
Yeah.
we're just there like having fun like 2 times per year, I
Mhm.
guess. Yeah.
But how did you like? They you said they were like fashion designers. So how did you get like interested in making music and stuff like that? Is that
It's
like more
actually
of a
kind of unrelated, like with them. Like they kind of want me to do like fashion design back then, like when I was kind of young, and then but I just hated it. I don't know why. I probably just take too much time from my parents, I guess. And then when I was in middle school, like 12 years old or something, I got really crazy about trance music, and I was a huge fan of Armin van Buuren back then, and I was listening to radio every day when I was sleeping on the bed at a student dorm. I actually live in school most of the time, and it was
Mm.
banned from like for you to bring any like devices to listen to stuff, and it's kind of risky. But like back then, there was a special class for all the middle school students that you can choose to learn about game design and music, and I actually choose game design back then, but I regret it like first semester after it. So I just wanted to learn about electronic music production. But back then in China, like there was not much resources about it, and then people there were very behind, I would say, like with the Western world on the EDM stuff. So my parents actually spent a lot of effort on helping me to find a good teacher, and then eventually I just got a teacher who actually produced pop music, and I started with Nuendo for a couple of years, and then when I was in high school, I just moved to LA and start making EDM from there.
Did you move to LA? Like, so you moved to LA when you were in high school?
Yeah. I think the senior year.
Oh,
Got
okay.
it. Okay.
Yeah.
Was that like a? Did you have like a plan when you did that, or was that kind of just like I need to do it, just spontaneous kind of?
Yeah, it was actually my parents supporting on making music as a hobby, but like they was they was forcing me to kind of study abroad and do a business degree or something like that. So I was actually not allowed to study music when I was in college, and then yeah, I was actually just following their plan and step by step, and then moved to LA and have 1 year of high school there, and then go to college in LA
Mm.
as well. Yeah,
So how long have you been in LA so far?
I think about like 4 years.
Oh, okay,
Uh,
cool. So you've been
yeah,
pretty acclimated to it. Got it.
right.
What do you like about LA? Is there anything in particular?
Yeah. Is
Yeah,
there
I
any like?
think just this is just the best place, man. It's like it has everything, like all the entertainment stuff and all the music industry people here. Actually, just got a studio in LA. It's in
Hmm.
Hollywood right now, and right next door is Joyride and Willim Boy and all those guys here. So we're just chatting every day about industry and production, and they actually give me a lot of tips on it too. So I'm just feeling that I'm learning a lot every single day, and then meeting more people. But because of this pandemic happened, just everything kind of stopped. But
Right.
it's still the best place.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. Do you think you would have like achieved like the same level of success that you have now if you like stayed in China, or do you think like the move to LA was like essential?
It's definitely essential for me, I guess, because like everybody was saying that the industry in China is huge, and then there were a lot of like big names coming to China to play shows every day, and then they're actually earning like double or triple the pay they get in the Western world. But right now it's like I feel like the Chinese EDM market is kind of stagnant, and then it's kind of I would say the music is way behind still. It was actually not as good as it was like 2 years ago. So like moving to LA made me I think like change my mind like to force me to only focus on music instead of like some commercial stuff like the current Chinese like EDM market is doing. It's just
Mm.
yeah. I feel like LA is just the best place for you to create stuff instead of just thinking about something else.
Yeah, I like to think it's like the entertainment hub of like the world, because
Right.
you're so close to like Hollywood, and it's also like it's very good for film as well as music. It's a very good
Mhm.
spot for it.
Right.
Um, yeah. So, oh, Vic just got his dog.
Yes, she just opened my
Yeah.
door. So
Oh my god, it's so cute. Is that a
thank
boy?
you. It's a girl. Super
Oh,
sweet. Luna.
oh, I got a cat too in my home.
I have like one as well. I have
Oh
a cat
really?
as well, and he's annoying. He's
Yeah,
not a
mine
nice
is annoying too. Like she just like can't stop annoying me.
guy. Yeah, she's. eh. Um. Okay. So I guess we could talk about like what you've been doing now, like with quarantine and all that.
Hmm.
Uh, have you been like just been spending all of your time making music? Have you been spending time doing like anything else? Like what have you been doing like in your free time, I guess?
I'm actually on an OPT visa right now. It's like an optional practice, like experience, kind of 1 year working experience after you graduate from college. And then I was supposed to work in a kind of like a movie production house for like some business administration, some related kind of stuff. But after this pandemic happened, like all those job offers were
Right.
canceled, and then I was just stuck in home and kind of got a little bit depression in the first 2 months, and then not really did anything, and then just staying at home playing games and watch dramas every day. But actually, after it got better, and then I moved into my new studio, I just started to work on my new project and kind of stuff, just new EPs and a different house project too. Yeah.
So when you say you moved into the studio, does that mean that you actually like live there fully, or do you go like back and forth from like your house to the studio?
Actually, back and forth. It's just like
Okay.
20 minutes walking distance from my home, right?
Okay, cool, cool.
Well,
Yeah.
that's nice. That's definitely like a comfortable spot to be.
Yeah, it's really good.
And it's nice to also kind of separate it because I feel like when you're at home, you're kind of like relaxed and you're more focused on like exactly like relaxing and doing like stuff like recreationally. But if you have like an actual place to go work at the studio, I feel like
Right,
you have
exactly.
more pressure, I guess, like more of a reason to like really
Yeah.
focus on it.
I feel like in my home, just like there's just too much distractions. I
Right.
just can't stop like seeing my phones and watch some episodes of like anime or something.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's definitely nice to have a place where you have a better acoustic treatment and can just work on like mix and mastering as well. Like yeah.
Yeah. Like I would love to have like my own studio for like making for working on things, mainly because I just am not I'm not the greatest like I'd say like I'm a bit of a procrastinator in the sense like I'll having like my work material so close to like to everything that I do just for like in my free time, like
Mhm.
I fucking I play like my gaming PC, I guess, is like right there, and I'm like I
Wow.
could see it. It's like I could,
Yeah.
and it's like
You just can't control it yet, right?
yeah, and it's like if I was just in an area where I only had my
Mm.
like some stuff for music, it's like I wouldn't be
Yeah, and
distracted. And
especially there are a lot of musicians around you, like just kind of force you to focus on music only,
oh
and
yeah,
yeah, and also it kind of help you to make more collaborations with like bigger artists or like instrumental players or something.
yeah.
Right.
I find it must also be easier to like to get out of like a writer's block if you are
Mhm.
surrounded by musicians, right? Because
Right.
if you don't know like what's going on, you could probably like if you don't know how to continue, you could probably like show it to someone and they'll probably know. They'll have like an idea that you can implement.
Hmm. Right. But just to make sure that you guys are both producers, right?
Yeah, we here and
Yeah,
there.
we're not
Right.
like we're nowhere near popular, but
Uh-huh.
we
Yeah,
produce
I'm not
more for
popular too,
ourselves.
but I really love to check your guys' music out like after this.
Yeah,
It's more like a
we
hobby thing. It's not
yeah
nothing
No.
like released yet. Probably in the
yeah.
Yeah.
future maybe, but
Yeah.
still working on it.
Nice. Nice. Keep
But
grinding.
thank you. And then in
Yeah.
terms of just like again, you probably are really inspired by the people that you talk to on a daily basis too, because you'll see what they're doing and you're
Mhm.
like, shit, maybe I gotta do even better, or just like something like that.
Right, exactly. Especially right now during this COVID-19 pandemic, a lot of people just got depression because they're not earning anything from music.
Right.
Mm.
And then actually like Jorai just told me like literally just last week about this situation, and he felt like this is a kind of great opportunity to kind of get out of like those more of a commercial, EDM producer and DJ kind of stuff, because they don't have, you know, uh bookings and all those stuff back to their, financial stuff. They don't have more money to like buy ghost production right now. So it's kind of the best time for producers who are actually making music and to put your brand out like in this time. And then
Right.
everybody's kind of equal right now. So I feel like it's a pretty good opportunity too. Like,
Mm.
yeah.
And then what do you think about the like online streaming of like DJ sets and stuff like that? Are you participating in any of them, or like what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I actually participated in one festival like 3 months ago. It's called Triller Fest. There were a lot of rappers like and DJs as well. Um, it was kind of interesting, but I feel like it just doesn't have that kind of feeling when you actually go to a festival
Right.
and venue
Yeah.
and kind of stuff. It's just like it definitely can help to reach more audience, but I think it's kind of not where EDM should go. It's kind of
Yeah.
yeah, it kind of make this kind of EDM culture weird by just focusing on live streaming and not
Yeah.
going to actual festival and stuff.
Like I'd say in the very beginning it was really cool, and like it was a good way to kind of like get people
Mhm.
to keep on like supporting EDM.
Yeah, right.
But in terms of just like shows now, I feel like they're kind of stagnated. And then, of course, it's not the same energy, of course, as
Right.
like the crowd. So you
But I
can
think
only see chat. Yeah.
yeah, I think that is definitely kind of necessary right now because we don't have any real shows right now. So people need to do something and put more stuff out.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you think we were talking about this with a previous guest, but do you think like do you think it's like more do you think that like having your live stream festivals, your online festivals in like video games like Minecraft or like
Mhm.
some VR, some simulation or whatever, do you think that's like ends up being better than just a straight up live stream, or do you think it's like more of a hindrance?
Yeah, I think it's just a different form of presentation of how live stream can be. And I feel like we are in the future is definitely gonna affect the EDM industry a lot because I feel like EDM is all about technology
Yeah.
in some sense. And so if you're gonna combine in some virtual reality kind of technology into EDM, it's gonna be really cool. Either it's online or it's offline. So I feel like just a different format of like live streaming, but it's nothing gonna be like a main thing, I guess. But it's just a different experience.
Right. It's just like only prevalent currently because there are no live shows. But once live shows do come back, I feel like
Mhm.
it's going to go back on the back burner.
Right.
All right, Victor,
Yes.
you got a question?
Yeah. So, like, outside of music, are there any things you like to enjoy to do? Like maybe play video games? Of course, you mentioned anime. Is there any other things that you
Mhm.
like to do?
I was a huge anime fan like back in high school, but right now I'm not as much, but still a little bit. I'm
Hmm.
watching a lot of dramas and actually study like Japanese like for 2 years. So I was really into Japanese dramas and anime kind of stuff. And besides that, I was playing game a lot. Like I play some Hearthstones, and I got my Switch playing a lot of different games.
Are you on the
Yeah,
Animal Crossing wave or?
yeah, Animal Crossing for sure. Yeah,
Hmm.
that one's pretty interesting. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Like I feel like my life is right now is just like making music and playing games and watching different kind of stuff.
Right.
Watching different stuff, right?
I mean, I feel like that's most producers right now.
Yeah.
There's not
Yeah,
really much to do.
yeah.
So in
But
terms of quarantine, oh, sorry, go ahead.
yeah, but I think I'm gonna get back to China soon, maybe a few months later, and
Hmm.
then I'm probably gonna do more stuff like something related to record label or fashion, just combining like my experience and my family's experience to make something cool, I guess, in
Right.
the market, right?
So would you say in terms of quarantine, have you been going out as much, like maybe doing hiking and stuff, or
Actually,
again,
we just went hiking today.
you did? Yeah.
Yeah, I just got back
Sick.
like
Where did you go?
we went to San Bernardino.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, there's a fall there. It's really cool.
Because
It's
we're in
just
LA as well, so
oh, you
I,
guys in LA too, right?
yeah, yeah. And like I was planning on going to Malibu hiking maybe later tomorrow. So
Nice,
yeah,
nice. You guys that should definitely go out, but wear a mask.
yeah. Of
Right.
course,
Oh
of
yeah.
course.
Yeah.
I haven't like left my house like at all.
Mm-hmm.
Because there hasn't really been too much of a reason for me to go out. Because like
Mm-hmm.
I probably like like none of my like friends are usually like available to do stuff, to do
Mm-hmm.
like anything, or they like don't want to go out and do anything because they don't want to
Mm-hmm.
risk it. So
Yeah.
like probably the furthest I've gone out would be like to like the store, which is honestly like still right across the street, so it's really not that far.
Right. It's
Yeah,
pretty much the same for me.
yeah. I'm
It's
in the
just
same boat.
right.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
the only time I would go out is like walking my dog and stuff, and the only reason I'm like trying to maybe test hiking is just because you're not really around that many people, and then of course if you know spots where people might not usually go to,
Mm-hmm.
it's fine. And of course, always wearing your mask is important. So
Right. Right. Especially right now, the situation in the U.S. is
yeah,
probably scary.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
The funny thing is, like, I'll be walking my dog, and I feel like I see more people outside now than before quarantine started.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, actually, there are more cases every day right now. So
yeah,
people just get stuck in home for too long, and then they need some fresh air. Yeah,
yeah.
kind of. But
Yeah.
It was kind of
yeah,
weird, like when restaurants started opening. I remember like just walking my dog and seeing people just like actually be in restaurants and like sitting down and eating together. And I'm just like, what are
yeah,
you guys doing? This is crazy. Like without masks or without anything. And then you'd see like the restaurant like waiters with like hazmat suits essentially almost. Like they have like these crazy masks and stuff.
Yeah.
And then you just see the restaurant goers just like kind of sitting there with like nothing. And I'm just like, this is insane. Like the whole dynamic of
right,
this is
exactly.
Oh, yeah.
crazy.
Yeah,
Have you
And
seen like the pictures of like people that have like that are wearing their masks, but they've cut a hole in like the
right,
center of
exactly.
the
I
mask so
just
they
saw
can
the
like
literally just saw the ads like yes, like I think like 2 days ago on YouTube. They're promoting like selling the face mask without actually covering your mouth. Just kind of. I mean, dude,
yeah.
it's so stupid, man. It's just
I'm like, what? Yeah, what's the point of the mask then? The point
right.
of it's like,
there's no
all right,
point.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna.
actually, in the U.S., like we are like 3 months like behind the time that we actually need a mask, and they said the mask didn't work, but after 3 months they said mask is necessary. It's so crazy.
Yeah, I think it's unfortunately the American culture to be like, screw you, I'm doing whatever I want, you know.
Yeah,
So, I mean,
yeah.
yeah,
All right, Victor, take over for a second. I'm gonna close my window.
go for it. Okay. So you said you've been playing a lot of games recently. So do you only play on Switch, or do you play on Steam or something else like PC games?
Actually, I'm actually playing a lot of like PUBG. You know,
Mm-hmm.
PUBG. Yeah, on my mobile with my girlfriend, and it's a little bit of Switch. Just playing some FIFA and some Animal Crossing, of course, and
Right.
yeah, that's pretty much it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, just and also just watching dramas. Yeah.
Right. So in terms of just like mobile games, what do you think of them? Because I know that a lot of people hate them, right? Just like for
Hmm.
like they feel like you can't like game on a phone. It's not like a thing that you should be
Right.
doing, right? And there's a lot of like controversy regarding that. Like, what do you think about that?
I hate it a lot. Like I feel like most of the mobile games right now are just pay to win.
Right.
And
Mm.
those mobile game companies just like spending like not much money, not much money as the bigger game company who are making good PC music,
Right.
and they're earning way more money than
Yeah.
them. So I feel like it's kind of unfair, and then it's kind of like destroying the game culture, I guess.
Right. But do you like the like portability of it at least? Like you can just be kind of anywhere and be able to play.
Yeah, of course, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Yeah. The microtransactions kind of suck, but I feel like again on PC they have that too, but it's just not as much.
hmm,
But definitely on mobile, it's definitely a problem.
yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Do you think like I was trying to like I was thinking about like what you were saying with like some people think that mobile games are like inferior to like
Hmm.
PC or console, and I just happen to think like that like Blizzard does like Hearthstone tournaments, right?
Right.
So do you think it's like do you think there's like are people that have managed to like get into a Hearthstone tournament because they just play on their phone casually,
Hmm.
or like gotten like really good like that good at Hearthstone, or is like
Hmm.
does everybody has to use like PC in order to qualify and stuff like that?
Yeah, I feel like mobile and PC are like the same for Hearthstone, right?
Right. I was
And
gonna
Yeah,
say yeah.
for Hearthstone
yeah,
it's like probably the same.
uh-huh.
There's like
Yeah,
very little difference between them.
I feel like that definitely like mobile, like Hearthstone can give like a lot people a lot more time playing on the games and more mobility
Yeah,
as well. Yeah, it's definitely helping it in some way and help people to practice and stuff to become a professional gamer. And yeah, but I feel like that just probably for Hearthstone only, like those kind of strategy games,
Right.
right? But not like those PC games that you actually need to use your mouth and keyboard and kind of stuff, right?
Right, like I would say like Hearthstone is in its own entirely different category because I feel like that's one of the only mobile games that like they don't have extreme microtransactions and not really pay to win.
Right.
And I feel like COD Mobile and stuff like that. I feel like have you seen like BlueStacks and how people download like Android APKs to their computer and then they use a mouse and keyboard to play against people on COD Mobile? It's kind of crazy, and I feel like
Oh yeah,
it's definitely cheating and it's kind of screwed up, but
right.
it's stupid. I don't
That's
know.
weird. Like, though, like I feel like some people are actually playing better on mobile than playing on PC.
Oh yeah.
It's that, yeah,
It's
but I
weird.
feel like you definitely gonna have like more accuracy on PC for sure.
Yeah, and the input controls are so weird because I mean, at
Right.
least for me, like I didn't grow up playing on my phone. Like I played up growing on like PSP and actual like buttons and stuff, right? So I guess
Right.
maybe for me it's a little bit more weird, right? Transitioning to like maybe mobile games. And for me personally, I don't play any because I just don't particularly like them. But I feel
Mhm.
like when I was in high school, I played a lot of Hearthstone on my phone just because I was at
Mhm.
school and like between the breaks, you could kind of like get in a match. And
Mhm.
I think, yeah, I think Hearthstone is in its own league when it comes to mobile games for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
I agree.
Mm, I feel like also mobile games is like kind of just not very uh seen like as an equal. I mean, personally, I think it's very easy to cheat in mobile games
Right.
compared to like other like whatever. Uh I'm like I mean, I'll admit to it. I'm pretty sure like a lot of people have, including myself, at one point cheated like with Pokemon Go when that
Mhm.
was a thing.
Yeah.
I yeah, I think a lot of people had the thing so they didn't actually have to go outside. They just
It's
like move
terrible. The
around with
whole
their
point
Yeah.
of it was to go outside,
I was
buddy.
yeah,
actually
and
trying to
like
do
people
that when
just
it
didn't
came
do it.
out. Yeah, just I feel like a lot of people got banned because of that.
Yeah, but they were like eventually they just got so good that it wasn't like really detectable.
Hmm.
And it's
Right.
just
Yeah.
like I feel like it was a lot easier to bypass stuff like that on mobile than it is on PC.
Hmm.
I think it was really cool when that game did come out, how many people you would see outside also playing
Oh
it.
Right.
yeah,
And like
Right.
it would be like grandmas and like dads and stuff also into it. And you would think it's more of like a kid game, right? But like a lot of these people were actually
Yeah.
like playing it, and it was really cool because like they would have like I don't remember like gyms maybe or it was like events where like you could catch Pokemon in a certain
Right.
area,
Right.
and then you would like walk on over there, and there's people all just kind of sitting on their phones playing
Mhm.
together, and it was kind of cool. But
Like when was it coming out, right?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, I was super into that game as well when it came out. My
Hmm.
parents were like so surprised, like seeing me going out every day,
Right.
like very
oh
late.
yeah.
Then, yeah.
It was the same thing here. Like when well when it came out, it was when the like the first week it came out or something like that. It was like region exclusive at the time.
Hmm.
So I think it was like only available like in certain app stores. It wasn't like available worldwide yet.
Hmm.
And I was at a this was like 2016. Yeah. So I was at a summer camp. I remember that.
Hmm.
But this was like in my home country, which is Sweden.
Hmm.
So I was the only one that had access to it. So everybody asked me to log in with like my US based Apple ID on their phone so they could download the game. And even like
Wow.
the camp counselors and stuff like that would
Mhm.
come up to me. It's like, could you please like just get me the game? And then
Yeah.
like we literally had like one day just like that we're like, we don't want to do this. Everybody just went together and just fucking played Pokemon Go for the day, and it was like, all right, cool.
That was a really fun time.
Yeah, I wish like there was more things similar to that. There are
Hmm.
like apps for like running and stuff, but I don't feel like they have the same effect. Like I wish like more people would go outside and in terms of just like using technology in that
Oh
Hmm.
way.
yeah, it's like if you could get something out of if you could get something out of exercising like that is not just bettering your health,
Hmm.
then like people would do it more because
Right.
that was like part of the reason why Pokemon Go was so effective. It's like people would walk like miles to get a rare Pokemon,
Hmm.
Right.
and it's
And it
like,
was revolutionary as well.
yeah,
Yeah. And later than that, there was a lot of copy version of Pokemon Go, and yeah, it just kind of
yeah,
released the trend, like in some extent.
Yeah, and I feel like it kind of gamified your life in a way, and I think it was really cool. And I wish there were more things like that, and like people actually took stuff seriously in that way. Like
Right.
it would be really cool how like I don't know. Okay, so I'm not. This is not exactly the same, but in terms of just like in China, I know that you guys have like a social score type thing, right?
Mhm.
And then
Yeah.
you would do certain things, and then I don't know, maybe go to work or whatever, and make money, and then your social score would go up, right? But then if you like robbed a store, your social score would of course go down, right? I wish like life here would also be sort of like that because I feel like more people would be doing better things in terms of their life, right?
Yeah. I'm not
That
pretty sure about the China social score system.
Yeah, I'm not very familiar with it either. I've just heard about it.
Uh,
that sounds like a
yeah.
Black Mirror episode, like
Right.
honestly.
Right. But,
Yeah,
but, but that can be definitely the good things
yeah, I feel
for
like
Yeah.
the
it is.
society. Right.
It definitely is. I think it's a really cool thing. Well, I don't think it should be a mandatory thing. I think that it should be like developed maybe by a private company in a sense. But
Right.
what if you could go on like Instagram and then you have like your social score kind of just sitting? I feel like that would kind of like improve certain
It's
things.
kind of like a movie.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's pretty interesting.
I think they made literally a Black Mirror episode about something like that. It
Mhm.
was like that everybody had like a star rating, like out
Oh,
of five
right.
hmm
stars, and
Right.
then like people could like if somebody like did something that you didn't like, you can give them a downvote or something,
Hmm.
yeah,
and
and
but you would like if you had below a certain rating, you wouldn't be allowed in a certain part. Like
yeah,
Right.
you wouldn't be allowed in some places, which is like probably how it would be. Like, I
yeah.
mean, if you had like a 1 star rating, people probably wouldn't trust you to
Of
like go
course.
rob a bank or
Right.
anything.
And the thing is, I feel like it would also kind of get abused as well because if you've seen like The Last of Us 2, like it got review bombed. I feel like you could probably like review bomb people as well.
Hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that there are problems that could occur with it, but I
Hmm.
think it would be not necessarily like the best thing, but I think it would be really cool. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
It'd
So our
be
society
interesting
is
to
based
see.
on like credibility and stuff.
I think
Like,
like yeah. Go ahead.
yeah.
I was gonna say like people. I feel like they would be doing better things because of course you have people like sitting at home, of course, playing video games all day, like me. But I feel like if I had more of an incentive to like be like, yeah, I'm gonna go on a run or work out, right? And then I would get like a social credit for that, right? And then people would see that. It would be like more of an incentive to actually go do shit rather
Hmm.
than just sit home and watch TV and like lose social score for not
Right.
doing anything, right?
Right. That could be a pretty interesting idea, I think. If we can actually
Yeah.
have like some of that, but not like super, strict.
Yeah, like I wouldn't want it to like ruin people's lives if they didn't use it correctly, but like it would
Yeah.
be cool
Right. Right.
to have it there, right?
Yeah. I feel like though if you implemented that, it would be super like you'd have to be living like everybody would have to live like a uniform lifestyle to keep up
Right.
something like that. You'd have to it'd take a lot of time to tailor it to like everybody's specific
Yeah.
things, you know?
Do you think
Yeah.
people would cheat in it as well? Do you think like people
Yeah.
would like
With the hackers and stuff, right?
Yeah, somebody will
right.
figure out how to cheat.
Mm. Yeah. But I feel like there should be like more of positive like motivations in the societies,
Right.
especially like during sometimes like this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of like ways to like implement something like that. It'd be really cool. Not necessarily like an app, but like of course there's like Strava, which is like a running app, which like you can compare yourself to other people that also run and
Mhm.
like it'll count your steps and whatever and it'll rank you against people in the world and I think that's kind of cool,
Mhm.
but it's only for running. So,
Yeah. I mean, something like that can be developed by a like private company or something, and then gather users who want to actually participate in something like that,
mhm,
and then can kind of promote something in the society.
Yeah.
mhm.
I
Yeah.
feel like a good way to promote uh people like getting people like getting active and doing things like that would be probably to develop more like AR related technology.
Mhm.
So like I mean Pokemon Go was like a first step to it, but I'm talking like have like a headset or like a pair of glasses that you can walk around outside and actually see stuff
It'd be
and
Right.
cool.
interact with it.
I wish
Like,
like Google Glass popped off like that, to be honest.
oh yeah, Google Glass like flopped, didn't it?
Well, I
Mhm.
mean, Apple's developing something like that, and also Google Glass is doing their own thing as well. It worked really well for like places, not like Amazon, but like workspaces like in warehouses where they
Mhm.
actually require that type of stuff. But I feel like in the real world, it wasn't that helpful because it wasn't optimized correctly,
Mhm.
and there was not a lot of uses for it.
Right.
But I think it would like tell you like locations and just like geological based like facts and stuff, and that's about it. But yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. But I feel like we can have something like that in the near future.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of company are already doing amazing on that, and yeah, and also VR music is gonna be pretty cool too.
Mm-hmm.
Like 360-degree kind of sounding, you know.
Ooh, yeah, that does sound like kind of interesting.
Right.
Do you think like people will start having like, I guess, full on studios in VR?
Right. I feel like that could be something that's gonna happen. And then my friend who are actually working in a VFX company, they're already started investigating on that, like all way, audio kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I mean, like, if having like, if you had like a studio in VR, like, would that kind of eliminate the reason, like, the purposes for buying like hardware? Because then
Mm,
like you could just download hardware into like a VR studio. It'll probably take longer since you're not, using like your own fingers, but
right.
like you could still do it.
Well, here's the thing. Again, input and output, of course, is going to be a huge issue in terms of that. I feel like if they like create some sort of actual gloves and like there's like tactile feel to it, I think it would be
Right.
really cool.
Right.
Uh, Also, it's not the same in terms of just like downloading things. Of course, the quality might be worse because everything's compressed,
Mhm.
and in terms of file sizes and stuff like that, it
Mhm.
wouldn't make that much sense. Of course,
Mhm.
like your DAW is already big enough. People crash on FL and Ableton constantly. Like that, and I think it would cause problems as well to do it in like a VR studio
Mhm.
like
But I
that.
feel like something like that, if something like if some VR can actually change your perception about like music, like for example, it can make you fall into a world
Hmm.
and modify your perception about you know playing instruments and listening to audios kind of stuff. If like something that can actually do that, you don't actually need a studio anymore. You don't need a keyboard. You don't need guitar and stuff. You just fall into a virtual reality world and then you just make stuff from there. I feel like
Right.
if something like that can happen, it's gonna be super cool and gonna change everything. But it's not just music; it's basically everything. But I'm not sure if that's coming or not.
You know what would be really cool? Well, the thing is, like for me, it's like tactile feel. Like I need to like touch something for in order to actually like feel like I'm doing impact, right? It's like
Hmm.
on like a piano, like you're like touching the keys and you actually feel like you're doing something, right? On the
Right.
keyboard, you're like touching stuff and you're actually doing things. With
Mhm.
VR, at least like uh, right now, you do have like the controllers and like triggers and stuff, but
Right.
it doesn't feel like you're actually doing things. Like if they made
Right.
like some sort of gloves to actually do something like that, I think it would be cool.
Right.
And in terms of like learning an instrument, also like I've seen like electric guitars, or not electric guitars, electric violins, where like it's just like a violin or viola or whatever, but it doesn't have any strings on it. But you would like also move the bow, and it would like make sound.
Hmm. Yeah, that's
Uh,
super.
I think if you brought those into VR and like changed the skin in it in VR and like made it look like an actual viola or whatever, and like
Right.
it would show you what strings to play,
Hmm.
right? Like it would highlight the string to play, and then you would play it, and then you would learn that way. I think it would be really cool, and I think people would like learn instruments a lot easier.
Yeah, maybe at some point it will just even give you that skill of playing violin like instantly.
Yeah, because imagine
Right?
like a piano, like you would have it in front of you in real life, right?
Hmm.
But then you have your VR, and then it's like the same layout, but the keys that you need to play are outlined,
Hmm.
right? Like it like has like a green thing, like to interact with it, and then you would press it, and then it would change the keys what to interact, and you could learn a song in a day.
Hmm. Yeah, that's super dope.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but I think it's
definitely.
pretty hard though.
Probably. Like the way like I always imagined like the direction I always imagined VR would go would be uh if for like anybody who knows anime would be like Sword Art Online. Like to
Hmm.
have be able to kind of like uh and like to be able to kind of like just it doesn't you don't actually have to move in the real world. It just
Hmm.
basically kind of almost turns off your brain or turns off your motor function, so you just kind of lay down in your bed, but then you can like pretty much do anything like
Oh, you're talking
act.
about SL, right?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah,
And I was
that.
that would definitely be a really cool way, especially in the sense of like what you guys were just talking about like learning instruments or something like that. Because
Hmm.
now there's no hardware like really holding you back, even though it's like all kind of in your head,
Hmm.
but like you're still moving like your own part of your body. So you kind of like
Right.
have to send off like the neurons like or whatever to like control your muscles in order to do whatever.
Hmm.
So then when you come back, you should probably be able to do the exact same thing that you just did, even though you technically didn't do it.
Hmm.
Right.
Well, I'm trying to think of like ways that you could implement that because I'm a computer science person, so I try to be as logical and like try to get shit done. Like actually, uh, I'm I would think like you would try to abuse like how you know how like when you go to sleep you dream, of course, right? I think it
Right.
would be really cool if you abused it and like used your dreams to like act as a VR world, right? So like you'd have like an implant or something in your head, right? To abuse your dreams to make it seem that you're like actually there, right? Because there are like lucid dreaming where like you feel like you know you're in a dream, but like uh, you can touch things and stuff, right? I feel
Mhm.
like if you did something like that, it'd be really cool.
Right.
My only concern with that is like, how would you eat and drink? Like, would you know when to leave the VR thing? Because I've watched SAO and like the whole premise is they can't leave, right?
Yeah, right. That's so scary.
It is, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's terrifying.
It's
Probably
I
like,
think it's like it would tell you I think if I recall correctly, it's like normally it would it's like it would tell you like it would show you would be able to see like your vitals.
mhm.
But also like if your body starts like reacting poorly, it would just log you out.
Hmm.
That's a
Right.
good thing.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I feel like it would be really useful if you could just use it when you go to sleep, right? So you don't have to eat or drink like during the night. It's like you just normally go to sleep, you just turn on your thing and then you go to sleep. And then you wake up the next morning and you know a new skill because you were in that VR world or learning how to make like
But that I feel like that would be so weird though, because like would it feel like you were asleep if you were sleeping with the thing on, or like if
no,
you
I
I don't
feel
think
like
so.
but
it's kind of like feeling like you have two lives, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it would so technically it would be like you never slept. So when you
exactly.
slept, you'd be awake. But
Yeah.
Exactly.
would you not be asleep in the game because like you'd be
Well, you sleep in
really
the
like
game when you're awake in real life, right?
Hmm.
but but would you not like if it's just a I guess a copy of you, you know what I mean? If it's like wouldn't you not be like tired in game?
Well, again, you would be awake in real life, right? So then I guess like your dreams, you don't dream during the day. I mean, there's daydreams, right, here and there, but like you don't necessarily dream the whole time during the day, right? So I feel like
Hmm.
it would just shut off, and then I guess like you would go to sleep in that world, right?
Yeah,
I
I
don't know.
just
Really
don't know
uh,
when you're sleeping and you're in that world, like how much information can you accept that to your brain? And that's something I think that people should worry about, maybe.
Mhm.
Yeah.
hmm.
It's like I feel like when you're awake, you're getting like so much information every day, right? But when you're
Mhm.
asleep, like, you're kind of like reducing that and just let your brain kind of take a break or something. And
Yeah.
then when you actually have another life that are taking the same amount of information, it's probably gonna be overload or something. I don't know.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true for sure. Because of course, like sleeping is when you're resting, right? And if you abuse it and then go to sleep and then like have this like dream of like this VR stuff and like you're actually doing things, right?
Mm.
Yeah, the information you probably get would be low, and then you're not actually resting. So when you do wake up, you probably feel like poorly.
Do you think
Right.
people would be able to like get your attention when you're under? They would like if like your mom if like let's say like you were like in the middle of like a session and then like your mom just came into the room and
Mm-hmm.
like it's time for dinner, but like would you know? Would you or would you just like be there? Are you just under until you come back out?
Yeah, maybe just something like alarm or something. Like when people actually, knock on your door and shout to you or something. Maybe.
Mm.
I think like the implant or whatever would have to like notify you because of course when you're under you probably don't feel anything, right? And if you do, like how is it going to tell you? Like maybe there's like something on like the HUD, right, that like pops up like hey, you're being touched, right? But like then you'd have to like map it to like your nerves so that you like when you feel things in real life it tells you. I don't know.
Yeah.
It'd be weird. I just like I'm like coming to the realization this is like this is more like a podcast about like music. We've been talking about VR for like 30
Right.
minutes.
I mean, we're interested in
That's so
technology, right? It's all
Yeah.
connected, right?
I mean,
Right.
it's a good conversation, definitely.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, technology is like a really weird thing. I mean, you guys have like I talked about it just like a little bit before, but you guys have seen like probably Black Mirror, right?
Yeah.
Of
I did.
course.
Yeah, that stuff is like the stuff that like really freaks me out because I'm like because it's super so obviously it's like futuristic and stuff like that, but the idea is not like that far out of reach,
No,
I guess.
absolutely.
None of their ideas are like so like far out there.
I'll be honest, when I watch Black Mirror, I get depressed because I know that it's like right in front of us. You know, like I remember seeing that one episode where like you could replay your memories, right, to like the person in front of you.
Oh,
And I'm like, this is not that out like far out. And of course, like you all you would need would be like a webcam like attached to your head the whole time.
Mhm.
And like of course that's like the very simple way of doing it, right? But it basically breaches trust and it's just like there's no privacy. Everybody's kind of showing their lives off and it's like why am I even living, right? It's like it depresses me honestly because like again being a computer science student I'm just like this shit is definitely possible and like I'm just like nope,
Right.
can't watch this.
Yeah.
yeah, it's like the one that I probably was like vibed with, or the one that kind of freaked me out the most was this one where people could get blocked in real life, I guess.
Hmm.
You could block people in real life, and then they would be like, you wouldn't be able to see them. They would be like the static blur, and you
Mhm.
wouldn't be able to hear them.
Yeah.
And I'm
I remember.
like,
Yeah.
it's so, it's like that always like it freaked me out. Like that'd be so it'd be so like it'd be so awkward if you thought like you were getting along with someone and the next time you see them they were just like a blur.
Mhm.
Right.
Uh, but it would also be like that it'd be I guess it'd be like a lot more incentive I guess to be like a decent person because nobody wants that.
That's what I was like going into like with the social score, right? Like
Mhm.
people would want to be a decent person because they don't want to get blocked or they don't want to have a really shitty score, so they would be better as a person, right?
Yeah, but like I think the end of that episode there was a guy who was like a criminal and he had to choose whether he wanted to like go to prison or be like live but like everybody was blocked for him. And I'm like, how would you be able to live in a world where you cannot communicate with anybody and
Right.
everybody sees you just as like for exactly what you are? Like everybody just knows.
Yeah. That's kind of like another kind of like punishment to like all the criminals and kind of stuff. It could be something like effective, like kind of like the social score system we talked about.
Yeah, and like
Yeah.
what if you like get canceled and like on Twitter or something and then everybody just like shows up as static for you the next
Right.
time you see people, right? And then you can't even defend yourself because everybody's static.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's get out of the depressing like future
Futuristic technology
like the
stuff.
Yeah.
dystopian rut. I mean, yeah. What? I guess. What games have you been like super or no? What games? What? You said you watch a lot of dramas. Like,
Right.
do you watch a lot of Do you watch like a lot of I guess. Do you watch a lot of Asian content or do you watch like American content?
I feel like it's half and half. Like I watch mainly Chinese and Japanese dramas, and also some Americans and English, like Game of Thrones, of course, and a lot of kind of I think Western world. Was it how to say it?
Westworld, yeah,
Oh yeah,
Westworld?
Westworld.
Westworld.
Yeah,
I need to
yeah,
start that.
same.
yeah, and Walking Dead, of course.
Mm.
Yeah, basically something just like that. And I watch a lot of YouTube content as well, like about some like brief like summary of like different movies.
Hmm.
But, like yeah, it's something kind of getting more and more popular in China. Like there are a lot of like podcasters just doing a lot of like summary for movies, like kind
Mm.
of 5 minutes per episode. It's kind of
Right.
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, did you I guess it must be probably a bit different, like compared to how stuff is in China, because I know in China, like a lot of websites are like
Mhm.
blocked.
Right.
So, like, what was like I guess what was the alternative to like YouTube? Because is YouTube blocked in China? I don't know.
Yes.
Yeah, it is. It is.
So like,
Yeah.
what's the alternative? I
Um,
I actually don't know.
like some people who actually, for example, people who actually been aboard, like they have their ways to, they're doing
VPN.
and to get to YouTube. And in China, we have some other platforms that are kind of like YouTube. There's something called Bilibili. And
Oh
there's
yes, yes, yes.
yeah, that one, and also something called like watermelon kind of thing. I don't know how to translate it, but like something like
Mhm.
that. Yeah, and we do have like our alternatives, but like I do think that is uh pretty bad things for communication, culture wise, and also sharing knowledge about different professional subjects. If we actually block those like YouTube, for example, and there are political concerns as well,
Of
and
course.
which I don't necessarily disagree. Because like blocking foreign websites actually help China in some way, in development wise and some other stuff. But for me, who actually study abroad, and I really want to have like those stuff unblocked and actually being able to use it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then in terms of just like life between China and the U.S., uh, what are like the main differences that you see? Like maybe like in terms of like schooling or some like actual life day to day.
Hmm. Like schooling is kind of interesting. Like schooling in China is like you work hard for your elementary school, middle school, and high school. You work
Right.
really hard, like super
Mhm.
crazy hard, and then when you actually get into college, it's kind of easy, and then you can
Mhm.
just like play games at your dorms every day. But in the U.S., kind of like different.
It's like flipped, right?
It's like flipped, right? Um, yeah, I feel like it's just something like that. And then in the U.S. colleges have to spend a lot more effort on reading, and it's kind of just depending on you though, like how much you want to learn and how much effort you want to put into school, right? And for life, I think in China's everything is getting like super convenient these days. Like you can order basically anything from the internet, and then it'll be delivered right at your door
Hmm.
like pretty soon. And then yeah, I feel like a lot of people and people right now in China don't actually use cash, and
Hmm.
they use like
Digital currency.
virtual.
Yeah.
Yeah. In that sense, I feel like life in China is pretty good, like comparing to life in the U.S. But I feel like in the U.S., just especially in LA, just we have a way better climate,
Right.
and um, especially for musicians, just a way better atmosphere
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
opportunity, I guess.
Yeah. And
I'd say
then
it's like
go ahead. Go
no
ahead.
go no you go first.
I was gonna say like in terms of like schooling and stuff. Like, I've seen like that you guys go to school, right? Like normal school, and then afterwards you go to a different school. Like, have you experienced
Mhm.
that, or like have you seen people do that? Like they would study until like 12 at night.
Yeah. Some people actually do that, but like I live in um like student dorms
Hmm.
back then, and then I have to study until like probably around 9 p.m. in the evening when I was in middle school,
Right.
and And when I was in high school, it's kind of different because I was in the international high school, so there's not much workload, and everything was like taught by English. So that was kind of nice, and that I don't have to, go through that.
Right.
So yeah, it's basically like that. But in some areas of China, like it's definitely more crazy. Like I do believe that some students are actually studying until like 12 p.m.
Mhm.
every day. It's just some like crazy, education stuff.
Right. For me, it's kind of inspiring because like when I've only been in American schooling, right? And like I feel like it's so lax and like it's not necessarily as harsh, right? And like they don't really push you that much. Like I feel like when you go to like a foreign school, like they're just like watching videos about like Chinese schooling and like
Mm.
I feel like I'm very inspired, right? Because I want to work harder as well. Because I genuinely feel like
Yeah.
American school is so much easier, right?
Yeah, but I feel like there's pros and cons. Like for Chinese schools, like for pros, it's just a student have like way better like basic knowledge about everything, like mathematics, and Chinese or something like that. And but on the contrary, like student in China do not really have their leisure time to do the things that they want.
Right.
Like for me, who I really wanted to make music back then, but I really don't have enough time because like school didn't allow me to bring my computer in,
Mm-hmm.
and I can only like produce music or listen to like my favorite stuff during the weekend when I'm back in.
Right.
So that's kind of, I feel like that really dragged me behind a lot, in high school. So I kind of feel like I wasted like 3 years, you know,
Right.
and I didn't have not as much time as some like Western kids.
Mm-hmm.
know,
Yeah, and
but
it probably does affect your social, like with other people, because of course, like if you're always at school studying, like you can't hang out with your friends and stuff all the time.
yeah, but I do believe the combination between like the Chinese education system and the U.S. education system is probably the most ideal one
Yeah.
for education. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess in that case, man, I had a question. It just completely like just jumped out of my mind. Oh my
You're
god,
good.
what was I gonna say?
You're good.
Okay. I mean, all right. Well, I'd say. What I was gonna say earlier was like I'd say like each depending on what like wherever you are, each country has like there's no like there's no like easy way to determine which country is better because every like country has like its own like pros and cons.
Right.
hmm
Like
Yeah.
like definitely like I've like have the same thing when like I go back to like Europe. Like Europe's got its own things, but like there's some things that just like the States do better
hmm
and all that.
Absolutely.
Right. But I
So
do feel like these days there's more collisions between ideologies and political stuff like
Right.
every day between the East and West, which is not really a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of sad part about the international kind of relationship and stuff.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
All right. Well, I think on that note, we're reaching about the end of our episode time.
for sure.
So, yeah. So Willem, like, do you have any last words?
Not really, but I just really want to thank you guys for having me on the episode, and I really enjoyed talking to you guys.
Hell yeah.
Absolutely.
Thank you for coming on.
It might have been a lot about VR, but like we still have fun here.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what matters.
Mhm.
uh, all right. Well, I guess where can for everybody out there listening, like where can they find you? Like,
You guys can find me on Instagram. Is Willim Music. Is the William without the A inside.
Mm-hmm.
It's Willim Music, and also on Spotify Willim, and yeah, SoundCloud Willim as well. But I don't use SoundCloud that much these days. So that's pretty much it.
all right, dope. Well, so everything for Willem will be down in the description wherever you're listening to this.
hmm
Everything for the podcast will be down there. Mine and Victor's socials will be down there as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, I guess, subscribe to our Patreon, join our Discord, all that good stuff. And then, I guess on that note, thank you, Will, so much for coming on, and we'll see everybody else in the next episode.
See you guys.
Peace.